This year's Independence Day commemoration comes with a tone of sober reflection. At 65 years of nationhood, Nigeria is confronted with pressing questions. Has the country learned from the lessons of the past? Are all hands ready to be on deck in building a nation? Or does the challenge lie elsewhere? These are the issues that continue to shape conversations around Nigeria's democratic journey. For Enugu, a state with deep relevance in Nigeria's story, these questions feel even more urgent. The Enugu state governor has urged Nigerians to remain united and optimistic, believing that the nation's sacrifices would ultimately yield positive results. Yet, residents are left to weigh his words against the realities on ground: jobs, security, infrastructure, and everyday survival. So where is Enugu in today's Nigerian conversation? This is Enugu Kwenu. I am Nathalie Uku. Good evening. Good evening and welcome to Enugu Kwenu on AfiaTV, and happy Independence Day to all Nigerians home and abroad. Joining me today is AfiaTV Head of News and Current Affairs, Mr. Alex Ogbodo. Mr. Alex, welcome to the program.
Happy Independence, Natalie.
Happy Independence Day. Let's just keep saying this for the next 45 minutes. Happy Independence Day, Mr. Alex.
I had a guest this morning who refused to respond to that.
Okay, he said Happy New Month in return.
Yeah, he said Happy New Month in return.
Yeah, because the guest came downstairs and told me that as well.
And, he tried to spread it like love, but we were avoiding him. We didn't want to get that plague.
It looks like you have a feeling of optimism today.
Yes, I'm as always, I'm very optimistic. Nigeria is a very interesting country, but we're also a country that can spring surprises.
That's right.
If we really put our minds to it.
Would you say that Nigeria is a proud 65-year-old?
Maybe the word is not pride. The word is, I've tried to paint a picture. If you find yourself in a school and you're supposed to be in SS3, say in secondary school, you're supposed to be in SS3. After the SS2 exams, you just can't find your results where it's supposed to be. All the scores you're seeing are not tallying to move you to the next class. Instead of coming out feeling all cocky and noisy, you should be a little bit humble, admitting that there are things that need to be done. I think that the problem I have with the way, especially the government officials have gone about talking about the country, is that they don't want to admit that we have problems. And it's in admitting that there are problems that we can fix them. Because they say, if it's not broken, why fix it? They are not admitting there are problems.
The rising bell this morning at 7 a.m. saw President Tinubu say that the worst is over, that the reforms are yielding results, and that has become the new alarm. So let's bring it back to the coast city, to Enugu, Nigeria, which this show represents. Where would you say Enugu State is in Nigeria's journey? What is the place of Enugu? What is the relevance of Enugu? What position does the state hold in Nigeria's story? Why is it so crucial?
So Enugu is like a mini Nigeria. What is like they will say that Nigeria has happened to Enugu too, and in some levels Enugu has also happened to itself. Yes, because you see the politics and every other thing in between has affected the development of Enugu. But if you take away the years of military rule, which nobody here decided who would be military administrator from, say, 1983 up until 1999, and then up until this moment, from 1999 to this moment, you would say that Enugu people have been electing their governors. If you take a look at that, the period Enugu people were in charge of Enugu, have they done all they were supposed to do? Because these are the things, apart from the fact that Enugu is a historical city, about Keystone finding the 1909, the whole episode of Enugu being a city of coal and becoming a township, as it were, in 1917. All these are supposed to be milestones that should be celebrated in Enugu. So when the months for these milestones come and go, there's no commemoration. I don't know why it's like that. Even to celebrate Enugu on the 27th of August, it's a problem. I think that the government of Enugu State, both now and in the future, should pay attention to celebrating those things. There are people who from 1999 don't know that Enugu was created in 1991. So if that is the case, there are a lot of Gen Zs who don't know how old Enugu is. So it's from government communication these things can come out, because it's not a private individual that will come and say it. You have to talk about yourself in a way that is historic enough to ignite the interest of the young ones. So that's what it is.
That's what it is, exactly. So let's look at Enugu. Now, we do realize that Enugu stood as the capital of the southeast when the region declared independence, and later stood as the capital of the east central state. Do you think that Enugu is still the capital of the region today, away from historic conversations? Do we still stand tall?
Unchanged, undiluted, unmistakable, indelible. That's if Enugu was paint, it will be indelible, or on ink, it will be indelible. So that's why you notice anyone who grew up in Enugu will still always talk about 042. It's something that is deep. So the place of Enugu cannot be taken away. Everyone, even the Southeast governors, when they meet in Enugu, irrespective of whether the chairman of the Southeast Governors Forum is from Enugu or not. Enugu they come to the Lions Den to meet. That's the reason why they gather at the Lions Den. So I don't want to get into the deeper, all those deep things. But the period between 1967 to 1970 represented a very crucial period for Enugu. Enugu at that time served as the capital of Biafra. That's what it was, until 1970 when everything ended. So at that time, Enugu became to Biafra what Washington, D.C. was to the U.S. So this was the place where Ojukwu was calling the shots from. But even before that, even before the old Biafra debacle, you had the likes of Zeke of Africa and Dr. Michael Ihono Karabara administering the eastern region from Enugu. So Enugu has always enjoyed that flourish administratively. Mm-hmm. And it continues to be the light bearer for all the other cities around the southeast. Enugu
is known as the coal city, and it got this name because of the heavy reliance on the coal industry in times past. Do you think that Enugu is sufficiently diversifying, or is it still heavily reliant on coal? We're seeing conversations in Nigeria bordering on trying to diversify the economy. Nigerians don't want a mono economy anymore. But that is being seen in some areas, agriculture. We're seeing more conversations around it. Is Enugu still in tune, or is it in tune at all with this mandate to try to evolve past coal, or are we still heavily dependent? Essentially, does Coal City still represent Enugu as a state?
So typically, the reason why they stopped mining coal here was purely political. It had nothing to do with environmental concerns. I stand to be corrected. I don't think there is any document. I don't think there was any damning document sent to the Nigerian government asking them to stop mining coal. Ultimately, coal mining stopped here because of the war. It's part of the punishment for those that live around here. All right, you want to be your own country. All right, let's see how you be your own country. So that's one of the consequences of trying to be your own country. So they stopped exporting your coal because part of the whole talk is that maybe you have resources. That's why you wanted to be a country of your own. Let's see where you get it from. So, and of course, they moved from regional system in Nigeria to the 12-state structure. So it changed the whole dynamics. All the states now collect money from the center. It's not a question of the regions generating their own revenue. So the revenue generation system changed. So Enugu ultimately happened to itself, but first of all, Nigeria happened to Enugu.
Nigeria happened to Enugu. I mean, Nigeria is happening to so much and so much. I mean, I've heard a lot of that in the past 48 hours. So let's look at Enugu and its place. President Tinubu in the 7 a.m. broadcast said that he is trying to ensure that Nigerians are a part of the Commonwealth. And he cited provision of infrastructure, roads, and all of that, that the broader Nigerians, the everyday Nigerians could partake in. That's how they are being brought into the Commonwealth. Enugu, do you think that Enugu State is benefiting from this Commonwealth? And could you look at it in line with the current political dynamics that we're seeing? Do you see Enugu becoming more a part of the Commonwealth or having more input at the national table? Because there's certain conversations right now that border around APC's continuous, visits and involvements in the state and all of that. So let's talk around Enugu's current place and possibilities if certain things prove true.
So, number one, Enugu has found itself in I don't know how to put this, but first of all, politics is an integral part of the whole thing. So if your governor does not belong to the party in the center, there are things that may never come to you as a state. Some people may not agree with this, but that is the Nigerian reality. And that's why all the rumor you're hearing about him possibly defecting. Because once you defect, you can easily go to the villa and ask for what you want. You can easily join the progressive governors and get a bigger slice of the national cake. So all this, combined to give you a worry, should give you heart palpitations, because good intentions don't actually decide what happens in this country anymore. What happens now is a political interest and political affiliation. And it's troubling. It's troubling. I don't know, maybe I just suffered a blank head, but I don't know what it is the federal government has done in Enugu in the last 2 years. Maybe someone needs to pinch me and tell me what it is, apart from what maybe the government here is trying to do. I mean, I don't know what it is. The loudest thing I hear the government doing is the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. They are pouring all the money there.
I mean, one would quickly look at the new Artisan Bridge and look at the other Enugu-Onitsha road, expressway that is being rehabilitated at the federal level. But let's leave it at that now and look at Enugu in comparison to other states, 65 years on. How would you say Enugu State is faring?
Okay, two things. There is Enugu as a city, and there is Enugu as a state. As a city, Enugu is supposed to have overgrown its size. But it looks like the growth has been stunted. Because you can't have a mega city. Like if you go to Lagos, your interconnection with the other local governments, it still appears to you like you're still in the city. But you are in Lagos. It's a vast place. But Ikeja seems to be the fulcrum of everything. But the other parts of Lagos, they are still Lagos. But they just refer to, when people say Lagos, their imagination is one big urban splash. In Enugu, when you say Enugu, yes, that's the idea, Enugu city. But if you live here, the moment you cross 9th Mile, the moment you cross Four Corners, and the moment you cross the airport, what do you see? Nothing. So there should be intentional urbanization. The city should expand in a way that makes it possible for low-cost houses to also spring up. If you look at the way buildings are springing up in the city, they are too elitist. The biggest housing estates in Enugu are for the elite. So, and this has been a pattern. It was like that from 1999 when Chimaroke built some of the housing estates. Yes, there was Loma Linda, which had 3-bedroomers and 2-bedroomers. But apart from that, the other ones, Golf Estate, Zoo Estate, Coal City Garden Estate, I think this one was done by Sullivan, Coal City Garden Estate, and the other estates. So they're basically for the rich. If you don't count your monies in hundreds of millions, you don't get any property there. So because at the end of the day, there's an Igbo saying that, and all the pieces of firewood are not of the same size. By the time you're tying it, some are longer, some are shorter. You have to make provisions for different persons in the society. It's a strata. It's a strata. Those are at the middle level, those are the upper level, those are the lower level.
Right.
If you don't make provisions for everybody, then the people you don't make provisions for will be a problem for those you have made provisions for.
And that's quite true. I mean, that's really great that you put it that way. It's almost like proverbial. So Enugu and the rest of Nigeria, that's a very solid topic because we're looking at Enugu and the entire country. How well would you say that Enugu is represented at the federal level? And also, if you can extend that conversation as well to recognition at the federal level. Do you see things probably bringing Enugu more to the limelight in recent times?
Yes. In the last 2 years, I have to tell you, Enugu has been in the news, and largely for the right reasons. We have to just say the truth.
I think Enugu is finding it hard not to be in the news.
Yeah, but there is something that is happening that is quite disturbing to me, and that's the politics.
Tell me
The politics is divisive. So, on the other hand, you have the governor, who is of the PDP, at least as of today. On the other hand, you also have the Minister of Innovation, Science and Tech, who is of the APC, who ran to be governor in 2023, and who possibly will run again in 2027. There is this polarization, and that polarization is not helping the state. So we've not seen any collaboration between the minister and the governor. So they are all there on their own. But is this about them, really? And that's the question I'm asking. Is this about Uchennaji and Governor Peter Mba, or is this about Enugu State? It's a question that should be answered. Play your politics, but it shouldn't be at the detriment of the people, because currently, the way things are moving, it looks like everything is standing still until they settle the politics. And I think that it could have been better handled. There is always a way to handle it without it escalating. We have seen political rivalries in Enugu since 1999. It doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be this way that the biggest persons in Enugu will be at opposites. It's not solving any problems for it, because at the federal level, there are jobs that should come to Enugu people. It may not come because the governor and the minister are not on the same page, and they are not on the same party.
Opposition is important in every kind of state. But do you think that Uchennaji is actually doing what he's supposed to as opposition?
Understand me. Please be in opposition, but also remember that your state needs to develop. The state cannot stand still until you become the governor. Except they're telling me that's the right thing.
Do you see the minister becoming governor?
Everything is possible. But what I'm saying is that the state cannot stand still until it does, if you will. The state, we cannot all drop dead and wait for him to be governor, if he will be. There has to be some kind of synergy. Whatever, if you don't want to admit there is a fight, you can see it, it's palpable.
During the election, what struck out for you in Uchennaji's manifesto?
I can't remember now, but I know I've gone through the manifesto. But, at this time, the talk will not now be about his manifesto, because if you look at the pecking order, I think he came fourth. So in the pecking order, the consideration will no longer be there. You had the Labour Party candidate and then Frank. So that's what it is. The Labour Party candidate did not have a manifesto, to the best of my knowledge. Do you have a copy?
All right, Mr. Alex, let's leave it at that and head back into independence. Now, do you think that Enugu has actually fully leveraged its natural resources, inherent natural resources, to evolve as a state?
Coal. We dropped the ball with coal. I think that a political elite here did not handle the coal matter properly. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm not well informed. But if you ask me, I'll tell you that those who have been at the helm, especially from 1999, they could have done more. More could have been done. I know that more could have been done. All the countries that are firing their power stations with coal are still firing them with coal. And our own, the sulfuric content of Enugu's coal is very small. So what's the big deal? So, and every day people are carrying coal away from here. And they are excavating it, they are not even mining it. It tells you the sheer quantity of coal in this city.
Right. I mean, that's almost a rhetoric question.
It's even possible that if you step out of this estate, you will see like 3 trailer loads of coal leaving the city.
It's a very interesting thing to look at, right? Because actually there's a lot of business going on there. Like you rightly pointed out, excavation of coal.
That's right.
That is a big business that is just going on, and everybody's... So Enugu is actually... has coal,
there is
and coal is being used. Now the question is by whom? We understand that there are private individuals as well, the government as well, but it'd be great to have a proper analysis of who is actually
there isn't right. Because there's no accountability on what the coal maybe I should say rule of engagement for coal mining. They're supposed to be how it should be done. If you are going to be mining coal, who are you? The trucks moving the coal don't have any names on them. It's not Mr. A, it's not Mr. B. We just see the trucks moving. And you don't hear anything from government saying, okay, we licensed A, B, C, D companies to do 1, 2, 3, 4 things in these locations. We need to know. We need to know. Because at the end of the day, whatever they are doing there has environmental impact on the lives of people. Because when the rain falls, it washes all those heavy metals into rivers and streams. Because these things have impact on people's health.
So let's look at the governor's post as well, talking about impact. Now, when residents hear the governor's call for optimism, unity, do you think that they see this reflected in their everyday lives? Are they struggling too much to see it? Do you see them actually feeling that need to unify and join or put all hands on deck, as is with the theme today?
Well, that's the same thing the president said. When you look at the people, do you really need to tell them to unite? Nobody tells you to wake up in the morning to come to work. Like, you don't need a statewide address for that. You don't need the president to tell you to go to work. You don't need the bishop of your diocese to tell you to go to church on Sunday. These are things that people do knowing that that's the right thing to do. What we are saying is government reciprocating. All those things that we are demanding from government, are they doing it? It's not by asking us to unite, to do this. The very minimal things we are requesting that they do, are they delivering? Are they delivering? Because currently, there is no trouble in Enugu, no riots, no protests, no nothing, no strikes. So there's unity. There's unity, except when politics rears its head. Because the only thing that causes the division is politics.
You talked about nothing really happening that would be volatile in Enugu in terms of who protesting and all of that. So I have to ask you this. Do you think that the Enugu state government has lived up to expectations in the area of infrastructure, or the things that the government was elected to do, putting in place human capital needs? Do you think that the Enugu state government is living up to those expectations?
For me now, the way it is, I'll have to wait.
Your personal views?
Yes, I'll have to wait for their first term to finish.
But you already have at least over 2 years to draw your own conclusions.
2 years,
halfway conclusions.
From the things we've seen some things already. I don't want to sound like I'm Commissioner for Information, because that's the accusations I get anytime I come on the show. So I will wait. After 4 years, I'll give my verdict.
So do you have any halfway verdicts? Any halfway checkpoints?
Well, I mean, a number of things are still ongoing. So I don't think it will be nice for me to make, sweeping conclusions. There are many things I'm seeing. Some of them I like, some of them, but I mean, I'll have to wait and see, because sometimes if a child is 1 year old, he may never know who he looks like. 2 years, you may never know. But by the time the person enters kindergarten, it starts forming. From 4 years, you should know who he looks like.
Right. The national cake. How much of the national cake do you think that Enugu is getting currently?
Enugu is getting its fair share of the national cake, if we want us to refer to that. the question will be, what are we doing with the national cake? That's it.
So still taking us back to the conversations around, possible political dynamic shifting. So there are rumors making the rounds on social media. Many people are saying that maybe the governor is going to defect to the All Progressives Congress. We're seeing the All Progressives Congress wooing the state governor to join them. And of course, that on its own poses its own threats for people who are already in the party. You talked about the minister as well, because he currently is the head of the party in Enugu, right? And if
That's what he said.
That's what he feels, right? So the president, of course, is also on the side trying to get the governor to join All Progressives Congress. So it's a big one. And the last time we saw this dilemma was when the Labour Party candidate in the 2023 gubernatorial election, Chijioke Edoga, was getting set or making wide consultations to consider moving to the PDP. So I would like to gain your assessment. Do you think that this is a trap? Or do you think that Enugu would benefit more if the state defects to the All Progressives Congress? And I really want to know what you think. I would like to
knowing what I know now about Nigerian politics, if he defects, Enugu will get more from the center. I mean, nobody needs to tell you that. The only issue would be after he defects and the APC fail to retain power at the center. That's the only time there will be a problem.
But we see some APC governors in the southeast as well. Look at Senator Hope Uzodinma. We see Right Honorable Francis Wifuru. They're APC governors. But somehow, Enugu, even in the PDP, as pundits say, as you have said, is progressing rather fast. So we're not seeing the best out of some of these parties, according to what people are seeing. They're not seen as much as is being seen in the state. Abia State being an exemption, it is Labour Party. So how are you optimistic that there will be more of the national cake?
Natalie, see, a lot of the things you see in the states reflect the personality of the individual governors. That's what it is. If the governor has gift of eloquence, you will see it. If the governor is shy, you will see it. If the governor is timid, you will see it. The words I've used may, apply to some of the governors in one way or the other. But then you know who your governor is. If you're from Ebonyi, if you're from Imo, if you're from Abia, if you're from Anambra or Enugu, you know whether your governor is timid, eloquent, well-traveled, business savvy. You know. That's what will reflect in the way he runs the state.
What are you trying to say about the two states I earlier mentioned?
Which two states?
Ebonyi State and Imo State, the APC states in the southeast. What are you trying to say?
The governors are running the states the best way they can. That's the point I'm making. It will, you see, you might have an advantage, but you have not taken advantage of the advantage. That's it. I mean, if you are the party at the center, have you leveraged going to see the president and talk to him about having a federal road additional to your state? Because once he approves it, the contract will be awarded. Yes. If you go and meet him around this time, we are working on the budget. And so if you go and meet him, they approve the thing, the next thing, it enters the budget.
The general perception of APC is not great at the federal level, at the state level. Is there some dead weight that some of these politicians do not know? Is there something about the party that makes you not want to do as much as you were doing before?
I think that there's something going on, and a lot of the people from the Southeast should also know this. There is a sentimental attachment to platform in the Southeast, and they need to come off it. Because there is that tendency to self-alienate by pointing fingers at people. There was something that Professor Chukwuma Soludo said during the Igbo Day celebration on Monday. He said that an itinerant people shouldn't be an intolerant people. By that, you can't say because you are enterprising, you come to somebody's domain and you behave the way anyhow you like. You party too hard and too loudly. So if people from the Southeast believe that they are too blessed, that God has blessed them more than every other ethnic group, they should be humble about it. You shouldn't rub it on everybody's face. I think, especially if you are in someone's domain. So how this is applying is that if you belong to a particular political party and you believe that the only set of people that should belong to the other political party are people from other parts of the country. But they are the ones controlling the resources, because you come back to complain of marginalization. So what is it really about the political platform? It's just a name. It's just a name. It says in the 2023 election, we discovered its political platforms are mere vehicles. They are just SPVs for people to rise to power. So let's get it over with. It doesn't matter the political party. If a particular political platform offers the Southeast what it needs in terms of resources from the center, in terms of what will provide the best avenue for resources and for development, we should go for it.
The question I have, Mr. Alex, is this seems like, you know, gentleman's agreement. And I call it a gentleman's agreement because it's almost this like saying, and it is saying that if you belong to my party, I will extend my hand to you. I'll give you what you need to develop your state. Don't we have enough conversations around where politicking should stop and where governance should begin to know that when power is assumed, resources should be given to the states regardless of political affiliation? Why are we seemingly fanning the flames of my party, my priority?
Statutorily, resources come to you according to the law. But you see, in your family, if you are 4 in number, your father might like you more, but he will not say it, but he will show it. By giving you a bigger piece of meat, sometimes, by giving you bigger pocket money, you know, he will do it in ways that the others will notice it. You can't hide these things. You can't hide it. Yes, you have an advantage if you belong to the same political party as the president. And I'm repeating here, the question is, how are you leveraging that advantage? That's what I'm saying. I want to be on record saying it.
You know you're having a good conversation when you forget to cue in your break. Mr. Alex, we'll go on a quick break now. When Enugu Kwenu returns, we'll delve more into this insightful conversation, looking at what true nationhood means and lots more. Happy Independence Day once again. Enugu Kwenu returns shortly. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Enugu Kwenu and happy Independence Day in Enugu. Welcome back to the program. And Nathalie, once again, I'm still here with AfiaTV Head of News Current Affairs, Mr. Alex Ogbodo, still looking at Enugu and the rest of Nigeria.
That's right.
So before we head into anything heated again, and you know this show somehow is about politics, so even when you try to keep it as a soft news, just keep going back and forth, somehow you veer into politics. And it's understandable because this is what the show is about. So let's talk about nationhood.
That's
what constitutes the true spirit of nationhood?
So Nigeria is a special example of a nation or a country that hasn't managed its diversity well. I think the US is an example of a country that has. Reason, they have people from all races in the US. Chinese, Indians, Germans, British, everybody, Indonesians. And you see them at the top of the food chain in all the chosen fields. But here, people don't rise to the top because they are the best in their class. People rise to the top because of where they come from. So that is the problem. So imagine that Nigeria wants to produce a space capsule, or a space shuttle to go to the space. And the only way you can do that is by getting the best hands to run the place. And somebody comes with, what is it called again? That's the word for it, federal character. And then they have to give the opportunities for people who are not qualified to be there. So you won't be manufacturing any space shuttle. If you want to build a space shuttle, you have to get the best hands in mechanical engineering, mechatronics, robotics. These are things you would do. You don't go and say the person is Hausa or is Igbo, is Yoruba. Those considerations shouldn't even exist because that's the biggest challenge we have. And it was something that started even before Nigeria's independence was announced. We were deeply divided along ethnic lines, and it's not going anywhere. So that's what's holding the country down. Everybody's interested in the president coming from their ethnic extraction.
What do you think about the question? Is it time that Nigeria had an Igbo president? What do you think of that question?
I believe that, yes, if you're talking about turn by turn, yes, it should have been, especially from 2023, it should have been an Igbo man who is president. But it is what it is, all right? And continuously they tell you that power is not given. But we ask the question, when Obasanjo became president in 1999, did he take it, or was it given to him? It was given to him, because there was consensus. It was him up against Olufalaye in 1999. And Ogbonnayono had to step down for Olufalaye so that they will have two candidates from the Southwest, so that head or tail, a president from the Southwest will emerge. And then everybody has gone full circle, and then Emiloko happened.
The argument somehow negates itself, because right before now you said it's all about tribe in Nigeria, and that's something that needs to change. But somehow we're still responding to questions.
Yeah, because you have to respond, because equity suggests that if an Hausa man has been president, a Yoruba man has been president, and a Ijaw man has been president, why shouldn't an Igbo man be president? So, because if you will have the way the country was smartly delineated, something that was conceptualized by Dr. Alex Okome, former vice president, South-South, Southeast, you can actually have presidents from these geopolitical zones if they decide to put it in our constitution. Bingo, we're game.
All right, still on national issues. Now, there's something that I pretty much observed today, and it's taking it back to the national anthem, which was readopted on May 29th, 2024. That was a surprise for Nigerians. President Enugu taking us back, approving that bill for the anthem, Nigeria We Hail Thee. Now, the old national anthem had a line that paid tributes to the labors of heroes past, quite an emotional line. And we're talking about those people who struggled, those nationalists that struggled for what we're seeing and commemorating today, independence. The new national anthem, the new old national anthem, Nigeria We Hail Thee, it's borders on patriotism, but has little, you can correct me if I'm wrong, to no line about the nationalists, those people that fought for independence. Because
the author of the national anthem we're using now is not Nigerian. Listen to the lyrics. Even the version in circulation was not even sung by Nigerians.
When you sing the national anthem every day, you recite the national anthem, it's almost like it possesses you. It starts to rewire your mind.
Arise, O compatriots is still in my heart.
It's in your heart because it has possessed you. It's a part of you. And the same way now, the children, the students that are singing the new old national anthem are being possessed by it. It's supposed to cause a shift that it makes you feel more respect for your country. But at the same time, the absence of that line, recognizing the struggles of our heroes past, do you think that it's significant in that it will make us forget their struggles years to come?
Don't you think that if our National Assembly hurriedly changed our national anthem without asking us, have you asked yourself why they didn't care to ask us? The president simply said he wanted the anthem back, and they gave it to him.
But did we consider that line?
No,
labels of our heroes past.
Yeah, because that's part of it. It's having no regard for your countrymen. Because your countrymen can also be people who are living or who are dead.
But we threw it away. We let it go.
No, it's not we. It's the Senate considered it and gave it. The president asked for it. They gave it to him. They didn't bother to do a public hearing.
So what do you think the lack of that line is going to cause in generations to come?
Well, it's not even about reciting it. It's about what we do about our heroes. How many literary prize is out there in honor of Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, even in the Southeast? Is any scholarship on by any of the governors of the Southeast? Do we have Zeke's lecture series? Do we have anything that takes us to that time? What is it that has been named after some of, not even about what is named, but something that is intellectually healthy? I just give one instance. There should be active scholarships and lectures on all these people. Tafawa Balewa, Awolowo, Ahmadu Bello. I mean, I know they have all those lectures, but it needs to be more active. It needs to be more active. And that's why I'm saying government should learn to communicate our heritage, because they are the people with the biggest resources for communication. And they are not communicating our heritage. There's a Zeke's monument there, just not too far away from here. It was refurbished by the Enugu state government, but if during Zeke's birthday, nothing happens. During his death, nothing happens. I don't know. It's just, there's a lot to say, but I can't say all of them here.
I mean, it would be great for you to say all of them.
Yeah, because not all of them are meant for the tube. So because the truth is...
So let's look at what happened today, Mr. Alex, right? The parade did not hold as traditionally expected. Should we embrace it as some kind of indication of Nigeria is trying to take into consideration the state of things? We should just sit at home and soberly reflect.
So I think by now we can find a replacement for maybe getting children to do march past. There can be something more intellectually engaging, other than getting our children to go and march at Okpara Square. You can have a debate, you can have essay competition that comes to a crescendo on the 1st of October. So that if my son or my daughter is participating, he's looking forward to 1st of October because he can potentially win a scholarship. We need to start doing things that will ignite the minds and the hearts of our youngsters, or else we'll wake up, we have children who don't know anything about their country. Because that's what's going to happen. Right. Because a lot of the youngsters don't know who is Zeke. They don't know who's Ahmadu Bello. They don't know who's Awolowo.
Right. So you mentioned this, and some people, everyone right now, it's a public holiday in Nigeria. The federal government declared today a public holiday. So children are at home, relaxing. But the valid point you raised here, Mr. Alex, is what are they learning? If there was some kind of march past, at least there would be that feeling of being a part of it. If there was some kind of debate, some kind of contest, at least there was something to exercise.
Actually, I'm saying that the march past shouldn't be the main event. The march past should be maybe just a part of it. There has to be something that can get the youngsters to really put their brains to some work.
The 7 a.m. broadcast is not enough?
What is it about? I mean, see, the 7 a.m. broadcast, what has it changed? It doesn't, even if it did not give any broadcast.
He fed you with more information.
No, he didn't give any new information.
But he fed you with information.
No,
he fed you with more information.
No, there's no information that came new. He simply made a broadcast in the morning. So pretty much everything he said in the broadcast were already in existence. Mm-hmm. The normal claim by an incumbent government doing the King Kong thing, beating their chest about what's been done, without listening to know whether the impact is there. So you can't say the economy is okay when it's just at the macro level. We are talking micro. The people at the lower levels, are they feeling the impact of your reforms?
Right.
Until when that happens, let him come and make another broadcast.
But you are still giving more information, Mr. Alex.
Which more information?
They fed you with more information.
All the figures mentioned were already in existence. He did not say anything new.
Okay, so I have a really interesting question for you. And it's going to be, they say, I'm hearing some rumors that I like putting people in a box. And, well, now to think of it, I'm probably going to be doing that today. But let's go on our second break. And when we come back, prepare, because it's going to be heated, Mr. Alex. Enugu Kwenu returns in moments. Stay tuned. Welcome back. The program is still Enugu Kwenu on AfiaTV, and this is saying Happy Independence Day, Nigeria, and of course to all of you watching this program, Happy Independence Day, especially in Enugu. Mr. Alex is still here, AfiaTV Head of News, Current Affairs, and now the question. Are you ready?
Ask
it's not that hard, don't mind me. I'm just
ask your question, not
it's clout. The question is, do you think Enugu State, the government of Enugu State, is outperforming Mr. President?
I don't think that's an appropriate question, given that the president has more resources than the state government. Now, even if the state government has intentions to outperform the president, they can't.
I didn't ask you about intentions.
Yeah,
I'm asking about what's on ground.
Yeah, I'm answering the question, except you're going to tell me how to answer it.
So answer the question.
I'm answering.
Go
I'm
ahead.
saying that that scenario does not suffice. Imagine saying that Abuja is outperforming the whole Nigeria. There's no way to be possible. Even if you combine all the good intentions and put it into action, it won't happen. It's not possible. Enugu cannot outperform the country because Enugu is just a microcosm of the country.
So let me make it more specific for you, Mr. Alex. You have failed to give us your assessment of if this governor has done well in just over 2 years. So I'm going to hit you with this other angle to this question. In the just over 2 years of leadership at the federal level and Enugu, do you believe that the federal has outperformed the state? That is my question. A 2-year assessment, just over 2 years assessment.
I'm saying that the question is rather funny. Again, I'm not sure it's a fair question. There's a lot of imbalance. It's like the body weight is slanting to one side. If you are going to be comparing Enugu State and the whole of Nigeria, because that's potentially what you are doing, it's not appropriate.
Enugu recently won a multi-million naira award for cleanest state in Nigeria. Just to refresh your memory. So I ask again, is Abuja, is the federal doing more than the state?
It's just like asking whether a son is doing the father paying his school fees.
So what are you trying to say, Mr.
I'm
Alex?
answering the question. You're
Answer
asking.
the question.
No, I've answered it.
No, you've not.
I have. You can't go. If you are 12 in your house and your father pays the school fees and you are asking the father whether you are asking someone whether one of the sons is outperforming the father. That's what the question is like. Think about it. Maybe there's something you want to ask. But
let me provide more clarity. All right, let me provide more clarity.
Maybe you should change the ammunition.
No, the ammunition shall not change. Well, we can laugh together, right?
No, change the ammunition.
If the state governor or the president had come out and said, "I am doing more," that would be different. But as we're seated here, we are analysts. I'm asking you, based on your assessment of all the things you've seen, of the different addresses, the accomplishments reeled out, we were both on a town hall, you heard everything, you asked the questions. Based on your assessment, what you've seen on ground.
I think that the fair assessment will be with other states, not with the federal government. I mean, you can't, do you know the amount of money the federal government, if you look at the allocation, how much that comes to the federal government, how much that comes to the states. So the assessment should be, maybe you look at Southeast or you look at the whole state.
I think you're trying to take yourself to the easy question too.
No, it's not. It's not an easy question.
Mr. Alex, I'm going to say this now,
yes.
And it's countering your initial arguments that you've raised for the past 45 minutes of this program. You said that it's about the person who is in power.
Exactly.
How exposed
That's right.
I'm quoting you. How exposed the person is, right? It's
right.
about what the person does with the resources presented.
Absolutely.
But here we are again. You are saying that the presidency has more resources than the states. So I'll ask you this question for a third time. Who is doing better with the resources provided regardless of the magnitude? And if you say, it's up to you, it's just a yes or no question and who is who.
So I'm saying that there is no point for the comparison between Enugu and federal.
But it's important. It's important on the program. The question has been raised.
Yeah, but a question being raised does not mean it must be answered.
You're a journalist. You shouldn't say that.
What do you mean?
Answer my question.
No, I have a right not to answer.
No, but you have a right to answer.
But yeah, I mean, I'm just so that we don't confuse the people watching.
You're confusing me as you're saying all this.
No,
Why are you saying all this?
No, it's fair if you are confused, but the man at home shouldn't be. Because if you are comparing the president and the governor, it's a no-brainer. That's what it is. You can't do that.
Okay, so you're saying that the presidency is doing more because you can't compare father and son.
You're the one saying that.
No, that's what you're saying.
No, you just
because if you don't give me a direct answer, I would infer your response.
No, you can't infer. I'm just telling you because you asked the question in a way to make it look like, because for you to make a comparison, the conditions for the two sides must be relatively equal for that to happen.
Mr. Alex,
yes,
you counter yourself.
I'm not countering myself. I've stayed on my lane. After I'm saying is what I'm saying.
You swerved into my lane.
I didn't swerve.
You're about to have an accident. You talked about resources, exposure. What's done with the resources?
Yes, that at the time I said that we were talking about the Southeast, and I mentioned the Southeast states. We were talking about the Southeast, so don't forget. This is Enugu Kwenu. I
know it's Enugu Kwenu. That's why I'm talking about the state. So answer my question.
Which is?
For a fourth time.
Yeah, because you created the thing, but I guess you want a particular response.
No, I don't. I want your response because
on what?
Because you're trying to make sure the time runs out, and we have
the two Enugu and Abuja and the federal government. There's a lot they can do.
Yes.
And I've told you that I would really love to give my assessment at the end of the tenure. I think because of a lot of things that are going on, even the Lagos-Calabar Highway is not yet complete. So where do I give the assessment from? We have to wait. After 4 years, let's have the scorecard.
But you're comfortable giving an assessment of Enugu in comparison to the other 4 states in the Southeast?
Because
you know, and
that's peer review.
It's the same tenure.
No, it's peer review. That's peer review.
So the one between Mr. President
if you want us, we
Mr.
can,
Governor is not peer review.
No, we can take away Hope Uzodimma and Chukwuma Soludo because their tenures are not in tandem with that of
Mr. Alex.
Peter Mba and Alex Oti and Nwifuru are the ones running on the same tenure. So if you want us to do the comparison, we can do it.
My question is about Enugu and the federal, and I've given you, I've delineated your study to just over 2 years.
Yes, and
But you failed to answer my question.
No, I didn't fail to answer your question. I'm saying that I'll be open for deeper analysis of that after 4 years.
This is the deepest analysis you could ever give.
It's not the deepest analysis I can give, but based on what is before me currently, I want to give that analysis at the end of 4 years because there's been a lot of incomplete analysis on different things. Because sometimes you're doing analysis, you think you have all the information, and you find out that you've been played.
So do we analyze Nigeria?
I'll have to wait until after 4 years so that nobody says that after all, Obasanjo did 8 years, but you are analyzing the man in just after 2 years. 4 years is that we're talking about by the end of next year it will be game. And I will sit here and I'll hit everybody hard.
I'll ask you the question for the 4th time, as irritating as that may sound, because I've asked it so many times.
Yeah.
So let me just taper down a little bit, okay? And I will ask my question, Mr. Alex. Between President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Dr. Peter Mba of Enugu State, who has done more with the resources they have in just over 2 years? And they ask who has done better. I said, who has done more? It's the same duration of the tenure.
No. And I've told you when you get that analysis.
You're stuttering.
I'm not. I'm as calm as the sea.
Why your legs tapping the desk?
You can also ask me why my heart is beating.
All right, I'll let you go. But we'll continue this conversation. I'll leave it with the viewers then. Drop the comments under this stream.
So you should get the Minister for Information and Commissioner for Information.
We'll get the Minister of Science and Technology
to speak
as well.
for themselves.
Thank you. Thank you once again. All right, Enugu Kwenu has come to an end, but we will continue this conversation at the same time, same channel next Wednesday at 4 p.m. On behalf of the entire production team of Enugu Kwenu, all of the resilience cameramen, the production crew, those guys in MCR, the ones behind this camera, I'm saying thank you so much and do well to continue watching AfiaTV. Until we see you again, good evening and happy Independence Day. Bye for now.